take Sally, and I'll take Sue. Makes no difference between the two. Cocaine run all round my brain. We're going to take a short look at Reverend Gary Davis's arrangement of Cocaine Blues, maybe with a little leaning towards what Jackson Browne did with it, because actually the verse I just sang right there was from Jackson Browne's recording. Now, there are dozens, if not hundreds, of verses that are or could be part of this song, and there are a lot of songs that even have this title. So we're just going to take a look at the 8-measure chord progression in a free lesson here, so I hope people are enjoying this, because this is a basic finger-picking thing that you just got to keep a steady alternating bass line going, play through a very simple 8-measure progression, although there's 2 extra measures that show up in the chorus, and or that are different than the first 8, and then sing the song. So what we have here is an attachment, 2 attachments. One that is just the chord progression and the lyrics, and then another one that is the basic set of picking that we would do for the verse and the chorus. So what I like to have people do first with this song is just get the hang of keeping a steady alternating bass going, and what we have here is a C chord with G in the bass. So a normal C chord would be these 3 fingers on the 2nd, 4th, and 5th strings. To get the G in the bass, your 3rd finger goes down to the 6th string, 3rd fret. Now we also need the high G in the melody up on the 1st string. So now I've got all 4 fingers on, and if I'm just following the tablature, my thumb's going to be going back and forth between the 6th and 4th strings, and I'm going to be using 3 fingers, each one on a separate string. My index finger on the 3rd string, my middle finger on the 2nd string, and my ring finger on the 1st string. And with that, all I have to do to pick through the first 2 measures is play the notes in the right order. Now, it's written in 12/8 time. That really just means that we've got 4 dotted quarter notes in a measure. Got a much more detailed explanation of this in the full lesson on this, where we go into more detail on this in the Target program, but also just in some of the theory stuff in the Target program, where we talk about how 12/8 works and how it's related to swing time and all of that. But to get this to sound right, all you have to do is make sure that your thumb is going back and forth, and every note that falls between thumbs is not halfway through like this, but that they're later than that, like this, giving us the effect of swing time. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So our first 2 measures then will sound like this. Move your left hand a little bit. All of the F chords in this song should be played with your thumb wrapping around the 6th string and using your thumb to play the 6th string at the 1st fret. And at the end of every 2 measures of F, the last 2 beats, we have an open note, open E, and then the F back on, so your thumb has to come on and off. You could do this with a bar, but if you're going to start working on Gary Davis stuff and you really want to get accurate, not even accurate, because a lot of his stuff can be played with the bars, but a lot of his stuff can't. You really are going to have to develop the ability to wrap your thumb around the neck, and when you're not doing that, get your hand back in better position, down a little bit lower, to make everything more accessible. So there was the first line, and then the second line is just back to our C with G in the bass. Move a note here. We're essentially going to G, but leave the 2 outside Gs on. And then a little hammer on. So, very slowly through that whole set of 8 measures. This is the verse then to Cocaine Blues. Get your thumb ready. Get that hammer on. Save that for the other version. Now the chorus, we just go to E, leave your 2nd finger where it was, play the E chords in this section, actually in this song and in most finger picking songs, with only 2 fingers. your index finger on the 3rd string, and your middle finger on the 4th string. You don't want to waste a finger on the 5th string when you're playing the 6th and 4th strings in the bass. So I go to my E chord with just 2 fingers and start with a hammer-on from open to the 1st fret of the G string. Now my 4th finger is it's very easy with my 4th finger to play that D, and then end with a hammer-on again, go to the F, and we're going to do a very similar pattern, starting with a hammer-on on the and of beat 1, or beat from the and of 1 to 2. And then our 2 passing bass notes again. The last 4 measures are the same in both the verse and the chorus. So when I said earlier that we really just have an 8-measure section and then really 2 more measures, it's the measure of E that is a little bit different, and then the measure of F in that part is really the same as the measure of E. If you want to follow Jackson Browne's progression a little bit more, I don't have this written down on the chart. I'm just going to tell you what it is, because what he did was he played the 2nd line with a couple of extra little variations in the 2nd and 3rd measures. And that was, instead of, he played the first 2 lines normally, C with G in the bass, to F, and again, what you do in the picking doesn't really matter too much. And then the 2nd line, the 4 measures in our 2nd line here are C with G in the bass, and now 2 measures that are split into 2 chords each, a half a measure of F, a half measure of G, a half measure of C, and another half measure of F, and then back to C for a whole measure. So here is the whole Jackson Browne version. C with G in the bass, F for 2 measures, C with G in the bass, and then F, G, C, F, and back to C. And then when you kick it back around to start another verse, make sure you get back to the G in the bass for the beginning of the C measure. So quick rundown on the basic version there of Cocaine Blues, and again there's a full lesson on this that includes all kinds of variations in the Target program that goes a few more pages in, and we get into some fancier stuff, even including the bridge. So, if you'd like to check out more on Cocaine Blues and a lot of other songs, be sure to come over to the Target side of Totally Guitars here and check out the Gary Davis lessons. There's Candyman, there's all kinds of other really cool stuff there. But it's fun every once in a while to put together a basic lesson of a song that could be very challenging if you haven't done very much of this. So that's it for today's free look at Cocaine Blues.